This angel's appearance to John begins a series of visions interrupting the narrative of the plagues, which resumes in chapter 15. For now, John sees events which will not be visible to the unregenerate on earth during the Great Tribulation. John sees a great, strong, mighty angel descending to earth. Everything is for John. There is no record of anyone else seeing this angel. This angel is not identified for us. The angel's clothing is a cloud. Clouds veil heaven from earth, and much about this angel is hidden from us. Clouds also symbolize the divide, the doorway between heaven and earth. Elijah went up to heaven in a whirlwind. Ezekiel saw God above the clouds. The Mount of Transfiguration was in a cloud. The Lord went up to heaven in a cloud. The angels returned to announce his departure in a cloud. And the Lord will return to earth 2 times in clouds. Once for his saints, the rapture, and once to set up his kingdom. He has a rainbow above his head. The rainbow is God's symbol of his covenant with all mankind, not to destroy the earth again with water. It encircles God's throne in heaven, both in Revelation and in Ezekiel's vision. His face is like the sun, and legs like pillars of fire are similar to John's vision of Jesus Christ in chapter 1. The similarity is so strong that many believe that this is another vision of Christ. Except for this description of the angel's appearance, there is no other reason to believe that he is Christ. When he speaks, verse 6, he sounds like a created being, not God himself. Everything about this mighty angel shines with the glory of heaven, but the glory of heaven is also the holiness of heaven, which cannot dwell in the presence of sin. There has been much speculation about what this little scroll is which the angel holds in his hand. It is called a little scroll, though in verse 8 the voice from heaven simply calls it a scroll. Based on Jeremiah 15:16, when your words came, I ate them. This little scroll contains words of God, but probably not what we have as the word of God. The speculation of Seiss that this is the instructions to the angel are as good a guess as anything, but fail to explain why they tasted sweet in John's mouth but made his stomach sour. We must admit that we cannot be certain what is written on the scroll. It lay open, so whatever its message, during the Great Tribulation it will be exposed. The angel planted his right foot on the sea and his left foot on the land. Throughout most of the Word of God, the sea and the land mean the material sea and land made of water and earth. In the book of Revelation, however, the word sea or waters sometimes mean the raging sea of ungoverned humanity. 17:15-13:1. When the word sea is used in this way, with the word land means the stable, orderly control of the government. This is probably a double meaning here. With his feet planted on the material, physical sea and land, he is standing in control of God's creation. With his feet planted on the raging sea of humanity and the governments of this world, he has authority over all mankind. The shout of the angel was like the roar of a lion. The deep bass roar of a lion can be heard over a mile away. Everyone near will notice this shout, which causes the 7 thunders to speak. Forbidding John to write down what the 7 thunders spoke reminds us that even with this revelation, we still do not know about most of what goes on during the Great Tribulation. Not only the 7 thunders, but most of the details of everything else are hidden. By lifting his right hand to heaven, the angel is making the most solemn oath possible. The description of Jesus Christ is an expansion of the formula found throughout the book of Revelation. Who is, lives forever and ever, who was, who created the heavens, the earth, and the sea and all that is in it, and who is to come. There will be no more delay. If there was any doubt that this is the fulfillment of the prophecies of the Old Testament, this reassures us that it is. The voice which John had heard from heaven, commanding him not to write down what the 7 thunders spoke, now commanded him to take the little scroll and eat it. Eating this book symbolizes taking the contents of the book and letting it become a part of John. The most reasonable explanation seems to me that the little scroll is this vision of Jesus Christ, which we call the book of Revelation up to this point. It is a comfort to John as he is given the vision, as sweet as honey in John's mouth. But the realization of the judgment of God on unbelievers and all creation makes it turn John's stomach sour. This command promised to John that he would still prophesy. The book of Revelation is almost half finished, makes me believe that the little scroll is only what John had written up to this point. It also shows that John had a rest from his vision, that the next part, beginning in chapter 11, is given to John sometime later.
John represents the church throughout the book of Revelation, as he represents all believers in chapter 10 when he eats the little scroll. So he represents all believers when he takes the reed like a measuring rod. Ezekiel, in a vision, saw a man with a linen cord and a measuring rod measure the millennial temple. Later, John sees an angel with a measuring rod of gold measure the New Jerusalem. But this is the temple of the Great Tribulation, where the abomination that causes desolation is set up. This is probably after the temple has been cleansed from the abomination, before the Lord returns. We are never told how many worshipers are in the temple area, but there are so few worshipers that they can be counted. This is just before the seventh trumpet judgment, which includes all seven bowl judgments. This seems to be the beginning of the 45-day period Daniel records at the close of his book. The tribulation begins with the signing of the covenant, which reinstitutes the daily sacrifices. There is some disagreement as to whether this refers to the signing of the covenant or the actual beginning of the sacrifices. Probably, there will be so little time between the two events that no one will notice a time here. The outer court that John was commanded to exclude refers to the time period of the abomination that causes desolation. The Gentiles will trample the holy city for 42 months. This time is given in months, not weeks or days, because this is not precise. It will probably begin on a certain day in the middle of the 70th week of Daniel when the sacrifices will be cut off. But the end of this period of the Gentiles will be a series of events culminating in the return of Jesus Christ to the earth when his feet touch the Mount of Olives and the mountain splits in two from east to west.